One 10-second perfume ad gave me 5 small problems. Scent paper was too big. The window could not open. The flower petals came from nowhere. One petal became stuck on little Vivi's nose. And at the end, my character suddenly became stiff and emotionless. Normally, I would change the prompt, generate the whole video again, and hope the new version didn't break something that already worked. This time, I tried Dreamina's Seedance 2.5 Smart Edit. It fixed some difficult changes surprisingly well, but it also failed in some very strange ways when I asked for too much. After several attempts and after using all my remaining credits, I found a much clearer way to use it. In this video, I will show every attempt, including the bad ones. I will explain what I think caused each failure, compare the same video with Google's Gemini Omni workflow, and show where Smart Edit can actually save time. If you are new to AI video, you may wonder why editing is so important. Why not just write a better prompt and generate it again? From my experience, making a flashy AI clip is often easier than making a precise one. Fast fighting scenes can look impressive because everything moves quickly. Small errors are harder to notice, but slow scenes are
Perfect.
much less forgiving. If a hand touches the wrong object, a prop changes shape, or a character looks in the wrong direction, you notice it immediately. There is another problem. Sometimes the most impressive moment in an AI video is not exactly what the creator planned. It happens by accident. It looks good. So the creator keeps it. I have done that too. That can work for a short clip, but it becomes a problem when you are making an advertisement, a short film, or a longer story that needs to follow a storyboard. A result can look beautiful and still be unusable. Maybe one object should not be there. Maybe an action happens too early. Maybe the ending cannot connect to the next shot. The clip is good by itself, but it is wrong for the story. This is why longer AI videos usually involve much more than one prompt and one click. You need a storyboard, several raw generations, careful selection, and normal video editing to connect everything. For a 10-second or 20-second clip, one generation may be enough. For a longer story that is much less common, smart editing is interesting because it gives us another option. Instead of rolling the dice on the whole shot again, we can try to repair only the part that is wrong. Dreamina gives you 2 related ways to edit. Smart Edit is for broader changes described with text. Edit with marks lets you point to a specific object or area that needs attention. My perfume test uses precise marks because I have several clear targets. I also use broader text instructions to change the action and the atmosphere around them. 2 abilities are especially useful here. The first is what Dreamina describes as intelligent traceless elimination. Removing an object is not only about making it disappear. A convincing edit may also need to remove its shadow or reflection and rebuild the background. The goal is to make the edit difficult to notice. The second is described as directional element replacement. This is more complicated than changing a color or replacing text on a wall. If I replace a prop in a character's hand, the grip, movement, contact, shadow, and sometimes even the sound may also need to change. The new object has to belong naturally in the scene. That is the promise. Now I want to see how well it works in a real shot. There are a few practical limits you should know about. The edit prompt is limited to 2,000 characters in the workflow I tested. If you edit a video that was generated directly on the platform, the prompt box also feels quite small when you need detailed instructions. I tested this on a Windows PC. On my screen, pressing enter started the generation. If I wanted a new line, I had to press Shift plus enter. Be careful. If you press enter by habit, the generation may begin before you have a chance to cancel it. For a long prompt, I recommend writing and shortening it in a separate text editor first. Then paste the final version into Dreamina. This is my original perfume advertisement with Vivi and Little Vivi, my CG cat character. The scene already had several parts that I liked. Vivi picks up a fragrance test strip, also called a blotter. They smell the perfume? Little Vivi reacts and sneezes. Then the scene ends on their reaction. But I noticed 5 problems. First, the fragrance blotter was too large and it was placed directly on the table. For an elegant perfume advertisement, it looked a little raw. I wanted a smaller blotter placed on a tray. Second, the orange scent effect that appeared behind Little Vivi looked a bit weird. Third, The breeze and flower petals seemed to come from nowhere. They should have entered through the window. But my reference image showed a window that could not open. This part was my mistake. Fourth, when little Vivi sneezed, the petal should have flown away. Instead, it stayed on her nose until the end. Finally, Vivi smiled at the cat, then suddenly became stiff and emotionless. In the past, I would have changed the prompt, replaced some references, and generated the entire shot again until everything worked at the same time. That can become expensive very quickly. This 10-second shot contains about 4 main events: picking up the blotter, smelling it, reacting to the scent, and sneezing. In my tests, around 3 to 4 seconds for one clear event is usually manageable. Fewer events are safer. I had 4 events, which would ideally need around 12 to 16 seconds. That gives each action more time and reduces the chance of errors. So I already expected my original 10-second version to have some problems. I wanted to see whether Smart Edit could repair them. For my first attempt, I intentionally asked for too much. I wanted to test several kinds of edits in one generation. I asked Seedance to add a tray and replace the large rectangular blotter with a smaller, more elegant shape. I also asked it to open the window, bring the breeze into the room, and add a scent ribbon from Vivi's blotter to little Vivi's nose. On top of that, I changed their actions and transformed both characters into new outfits. For the tray and blotter, I used a generated image as a reference. For Vivi's new outfit, I used a costume reference. For little Vivi, I generated a more exact image of the cat wearing the costume. A normal human costume reference could easily make a cat look strange or too human. So I wanted to show the model the exact shape I wanted. I also used an image showing the open window scene and the direction of the scent ribbon. Then I shortened the prompt to fit the 2000 character limit. I marked the objects I wanted to change during the relevant time intervals, pasted the prompt, and generated the edit. Some parts worked very well. The scent ribbon appeared, and the costume transformation was close to what I wanted. These were not small color changes. They affected the whole scene. So I was impressed that they worked at all. But several other parts failed. The tray was placed in another location instead of under the blotter. The blotter kept its old shape. The window stayed closed, even though the curtain moved in the wind. Little Vivi no longer sneezed. She seemed to meow without opening her mouth instead. I checked my prompt and references before trying again. The first problem was probably my sequence instruction. I wrote that Vivi raises the scent blotter and inhales, but I did not say that she lifts it from the tray. That may have weakened my earlier instruction about placing the new blotter on the tray. The model added the tray, but it did not connect the tray to the action. The second problem was clearer. I used the instruction, follow these sequences, but I forgot to say that little Vivi still sneezes. So the model may have treated the sneeze as something I wanted to remove. The window was more difficult. In the first frame of the source video, it was not a window that could naturally open. I suspect the source geometry was fighting against my edit instruction. For the second attempt, I generated a new window that could open and referenced it from the first frame. I also restored the sneeze in the prompt, and I told the model that the petal should be blown toward the camera at the end. This time, the window opened correctly. However, its shape was wrong after it opened. When I checked the reference, I noticed that the open window image also had the wrong shape. The model may simply have followed the mistake in my reference. Vivi's clothes also changed when I did not want them to. I think the edit affected more of the character than I intended. The rest of the sequence was mostly acceptable. So for my next test, I removed the open window scene reference and tried to protect Vivi's original outfit more clearly. For the third attempt, I removed the open window scene reference. I added a correct clothing reference for Vivi and told the model to keep her original costume. The overall result was worse, but two details improved. The tray appeared in the correct area. and a new, smaller blotter was placed on it. However, when Vivi picked it up, the blotter changed back into the old large rectangle. The correct small blotter was still sitting on the tray. Instead of replacing one object throughout the whole action, the edit created two versions. Vivi's original costume stayed correct. That preservation instruction helped. But the window did not open. Little Vivi's costume did not match the reference. The petals appeared from nowhere again, and one became stuck on her nose. This attempt taught me something important. A correct object in one frame does not mean the object will stay correct throughout the complete motion. For video editing, I may need to mark a larger part of the timeline, especially the moment when a hand touches or picks up the edited object. Another important thing I learned is that it may be better to use a keyframe from the reference video when you want the result to closely match what you have in mind. However, doing this might also introduce some unnatural motion or small errors. At this point, I had almost no credits left. So I made one smaller test using only 4 seconds of video. I asked for two things: add the tray and change the shape of the blotter. The tray was added correctly, but the blotter still kept its old shape. This does not prove that Seedance cannot replace the blotter. It only shows that, in this test, adding a new object was more reliable than changing the shape of an object that was already involved in the character's movement. It is also possible that my reference image was too small, or that its shape was not different enough from the original blotter.
If you only want to edit a few seconds of a longer generated video, you can use the Edit Segment feature to save credits. Click the Edit Segment button on a video you have already generated. Then choose the specific part of the video you want to edit and click Next. You will see that credits are only charged for the segment you selected. This means you do not have to cut the video in another program and upload the shorter clip back to the platform just to edit it. For this test, I am going to replace the rubber duck with this space pigeon holding a subscribe banner. But first, I will try a longer, more detailed prompt. As you can see, the result followed most of my instructions, except for one important detail. The pigeon was supposed to be outside the spaceship and face the camera through the window. Instead, it suddenly popped up inside the spaceship. I checked my prompt and found a possible cause. One instruction said the pigeon is oversized and centered. Another instruction, later in the prompt, said, and faces the camera through the window. These two instructions may have conflicted with each other. The model followed the oversized and centered placement, but it did not understand that the pigeon needed to remain outside the spaceship. Now, I will try again with one short instruction. Replace the marked rubber duck with the pigeon space service worker. As you can see, this time the result came out correctly. My suggestion is that if you do not have much experience writing video editing prompts, keep your instructions as short, simple, and clear as possible. Avoid adding details that could conflict with each other. A simple instruction gives the model a clearer editing goal and can improve your success rate. That's it for the edit segment demonstration. Next, I'll test Google's Gemini Omni video editing mode on the perfume video.
In my results, the human character stayed reasonably close to the original. Little Vivi did not. The cat changed into a different looking character almost every time. The result felt less like a local edit and more like generating a new version of the whole shot. This is only my test with one human character and one CG cat, so I would not treat it as a universal result. But for this particular video, Seedance preserved the CG character better. Gemini was more acceptable for the real human character than for Little Vivi. After these tests, my rule is simple. Smart Edit is useful, but asking it to fix everything at once is still another kind of gambling. For a meaningful replacement or action change, I would start with only 1 or 2 edits in each pass. Simple removal may be more forgiving, but a new prop, a new action, and a costume transformation can affect many connected parts of the shot. Read the edit prompt as if you are directing a physical scene. If a character picks up an object, say where the object starts. Explain how the hand reaches it, and explain what must remain consistent after contact. Give each reference one clear job. A window reference should control the window, not the room, costume, or camera. A costume reference should control the clothing. It should not force the character into the exact pose from the image. Protect the parts that are already correct. If the original clothes, face, product, camera, or lighting must not change, say that clearly. Also, check whether the source video can physically support the edit. Asking a sealed window to open may be harder than starting with an openable window from the beginning. For major changes to a character's emotion or action, I would still consider a normal generation or an Omni-style workflow. It may follow the new performance more easily, but you may lose some identity or continuity. Smart Edit felt more reliable when the new action was close to motion that already existed in the source. Most importantly, judge the complete video, not just one good frame. Check the object before contact, during contact, and after contact. Look for duplicates, shape changes, identity drift, shadows, physics problems, and anything that suddenly appears from nowhere. Overall, Seedance 2.5 Smart Edit gives me a new way to improve a shot without regenerating the whole video and crossing my fingers again. I only compared it with the Gemini workflow in this test. So I am not saying it is the best AI video editor overall. For removing unwanted elements, adding a focused effect, or repairing one part of a shot, it can save time and credits. It is less reliable when I combine several replacements, new actions, environmental changes, and character transformations in one pass. It is not perfect, and the success rate will depend on the video. My perfume scene is especially difficult because it combines a human, a CG cat, several props, wind, pedals, a window, and 4 events inside just 10 seconds. Still, this test changed how I will plan future AI videos. A precise prompt and a reference made for one clear purpose are not only preparation, they are part of the editing process. The better I understand the exact shot I want, the less money I have to spend rolling the dice. If you want to try Dreamina, I've put the link in the description, and the current promo is still available. You can also comment Dreamina and I'll send you the link. I am still learning this feature. If you have tested it, tell me what worked for you. I am especially curious about how you would stop the small blotter from becoming a second large blotter when Vivi picks it up. If you like honest tests of AI tools for entertainment and productivity, subscribe and turn on notifications.
Perfect.
I will see you in the next video.